Hey everybody, welcome back to Ogre Speed Shop. So we gotta get this engine stand built so we can test out 77 GMC's K35's 350 engine. So we tore it down, looked for anything that was loose or rattling. The only possibilities we have are the fuel pump, because it was rattling pretty good. It kind of sounded the same. The timing chain, which we changed, it's got a double roller timing chain in there. The balancer we replaced just because it was pretty worn out. New timing cover. So hopefully either the sound is completely gone and it was the clutch, or it'll still be there. We pull the fuel pump off and it goes away. And that was the issue. Hopefully it's not something in the bottom end. I checked everything. Everything feels safe, or feels tight on the inside there. So I don't know what the problem is, but we're gonna figure it out. But we gotta get it running first. We're gonna build a stand. So you got the motor mounts up here right now. We're just gonna build a post going down, and then back over and attach to the back here. And that way I can put a flywheel on there and fire it up. So that's the plan. All right, so I got these two pieces cut out of like 1/4-inch tube steel. This is all left on the property when we bought it. I think it's like from a drilling rig or something like that. There's a whole bunch of it. I got rid of quite a bit of it, but there's still, I kept some of it just for this kind of thing. But those are going to be the vertical stands. So I'm going to set those in here. So that's going to be that part right there. Whether or not it's going to be something on top of it, but that's going to go down. And then I'm going to put a piece back here, like I said. It's going to probably like a piece of angle iron attached to those two bolts on each end. Right there and right there. And then connect it to and make a base. It's not going to be that technical. It's just going to be enough to hold the engine up so we can start her up. First piece is tacked together. So just put a piece of square that already had a hole in it, and just welded the top of the stands here. You can see. And I just added a little piece down there, and I just need to probably take those, cut an edge off of it so I can go around this, and this way, get those down to the same length as that. And it's pretty much a stand. So I kind of needed a template to do the holes in the back here. And so I made this. I got a $700 4 over here that I used and just kind of dirtied it up and used a punch, or whatever these things are called. Yeah, I guess it's a punch. I used that, and then I used a socket. I've seen people use sockets before to do that. I didn't realize how well it worked. So I just found one that was the right size and used that the same way I used that. That's designed for it. And it cut it just as good. So whoever put that out, appreciate it, because that worked like a charm. So now I got the template to make the pieces for the ends here. All right, there's the back half of it. You see I drilled the holes and they all fit on there, even with the stand mounts. So it'll hold, but I'm going to do some bracing because this is pretty thin. So I'm going to do some bracing between here and the other side, and probably between here and here, just to kind of bring it in. Maybe just the bottom, I don't know. Maybe just put a piece of metal up through here, who knows. I'll figure something out to strengthen it up a little bit. Maybe take the pieces I cut off of it right there and weld them to the inside just to give it that extra little strength there. Like I said, it's pretty thin, but it should be, it'll hold it. It just probably needs some extra help to hold it. It's a little rough, but I think it'll work. So I'm gonna connect the two sides, or I'm gonna connect from the front to the back. I just need to cut two 16-inch pieces out of some 1x2. And I wanna raise the front up a little bit because it was leaning down in the front. I'd rather lean it back a little bit. So I had to reinforce this because that definitely that thin metal wasn't enough, but I'm building this out of scrap. When I go to build a real one, I'll buy real metal, but this is just to get this done for now. But I just wanted to share that part. I'll be connecting from here to here as well. That's our finished product. It's gonna be good enough for what I need to do. It's really ugly, but it's made out of scrap metal and like really crappy metal. I don't know what these things are made out of. But these were steps at the top of this when we bought it at auction. Like this. So this had those things going up another like 5 feet, which was like incredibly dangerous. But anyways, Yeah, it'll work good enough to run a motor on, long enough to hear it, I guess. So I think the next thing we need to do is we need to pull the exhaust off of the truck so we can hear it when it runs, because I don't want to have to like try to listen over the loud exhaust on it. So we got to pull that off of there, get a muffler put on there. I don't know if I'll pull one out of here, up here that I got. I think I got another one up there someplace. I got those glass packs, but there's a glass pack on there as well. I can pull the whole exhaust off, I guess. But we'll figure it out once we get the main Y pipe off of it. I think it's time to get this thing prepped to go on the stand. So we're gonna do exhaust manifolds, spark plugs, probably wires, and then we'll get it moved over to the stand and start getting the flywheel on there and carburetor, all that good stuff. Make it ready to run. So let's get into it. The two end bolts here, they were both studs. I don't know if it's a bigger thread. It kind of looks like it might be bigger thread or it's just worn out. But I switched the bolt out for that one and it still seems like it wants to strip out. This one here is actually a mount for the alternator. So we need that, or not the alternator, for the power steering pump, I think. There's a bracket that goes on here to hold something. I think it's power steering. But yeah, so those are a little bit loose. But we'll worry about that later. This is just, we're testing things right now. So let's get this thing put on the stand now and get stuff hooked up. Well, that was a little harder than expected. Should probably had the exhaust manifolds on there before I built this thing because they decided to hit. I think I might have to still clearance a little bit more to fit the, because I have to fit the donut on there. This thing here and that little flapper, well, it used to be a flapper. This thing here all needs to go on there. So, yeah, we'll see if I have to clearance any more, but it's kind of what happens when you're just throwing something together real quick. You discover the imperfections, which is like the entire thing, so, you know. But it's plenty, there should be plenty of room to, God, is the freaking oil filter hitting too? It is. Wasn't expecting that. Oh, damn. So look at that a little bit closer, make sure it's not hitting too hard. All right, clearance for the oil filter now. So this got a nice big gap there. Clearance some more down here so everything will fit on there now. So now it's a matter of getting the exhaust put on there, but I need a jack stand and everything. Get the carb on there, get the new spark plugs in, get the wires on there, put some electrical to it, crank it over, see what happens. All right, this morning I've been doing some modifications and some repairs. So this pipe I had cut right here to remove it one time. There's some holes there that I patched up. Just making it so we'll be able to hear the engine running and listen for those ticks or the rattle or whatever it was. I had to trim out a little bit of this. Luckily, I put that 1-inch bar in there that keeps the strength because the exhaust won't fit on there. It cuts down and went through there, so I had to modify that. So we're gonna get this pipe put on there and get everything else hooked up so we can fire it up and see if the rattle is still there or if it's gone away or if it's the fuel pump or I don't know. We'll figure it out though. That's what we're gonna do. I tell you what, I really didn't think this whole design through, did I? completely blocking the starter mounts. Not to mention, you know, where the starter's got to go. So, boy, I don't know what the heck I was thinking. Thinking maybe I was going to cut that whole leg right off. Figure out something else. I don't know. All right, well, that was my simplest fix for this. I just cut the leg off, and it's still really sturdy. Let me let it down, because it didn't even move when I dropped it the last time, so. See, it didn't move at all. I added the bell housing just for safety, I guess, because you know how important that is to me around here. But, but yeah, I may put like a leg here down to the ground just to help support this side, but it doesn't really matter. It doesn't seem to be moving. Yeah, that's pretty solid just the way it is, so I think it'll be fine. And well, it does torque this direction, but I don't know. I don't think it's going to matter. So we'll run it the way it is. Hope for the best. Well, I think I got all the kinks worked out of it now. So I know we don't have a support over here, but I don't think it's going to matter because it's not like that's not holding it up and it's not moving at all. So I think we'll be good on that. So let's get the spark plugs, wires, carburetor on there. Let's get her fired up and see what kind of noises it makes. Hopefully none, because we don't have the water pump on. New timing chain, new balancer, no water pump. The fuel pump that was making noise, so we got to hook the line up for that too. But yeah, let's just see if we can figure out what that noise was. Hopefully it went away and ends up being the clutch or the throwout bearing, which was crap. If you all remember that, but yep, so let's get this thing done. We got her all hooked up. It did fire off once. I was just basically blowing the cylinders at one point, and then I just wanted to test to make sure everything was working. And it did fire off, but it's not staying running. We don't have fuel going to it yet. I don't even know how much is in the bowls. It's definitely spraying some, so there's definitely some in the bowl, but just wasn't staying running. But we'll see. We'll get it fired up here in a minute. Well, the starter's just cranking slow, or if there's something wrong where it's sticking, but let me try it again here, see what happens. I do have a switch hooked up to it so I can shut it off at will. Alright, see what happens. She fired. Definitely cranking a lot better than it was. Do you have an oil pressure gauge hooked up? I was looking at the wrong gauge. I figured out a better way of connecting that. A little bit easier. Battery just dies too quick. Jump back on it. Okay, the battery charger ain't making something, or the jump pack. A little bit hot. I need to work on my electrical connections. That battery is hot. All right, we get it. Charge the battery for a little bit. We'll come back to this. All right, we're gonna try this again. So we got oil gauge hooked up. We had that before. Now we got a clip here that hooks to this. But probably should hook up a push button for the starter as well. But oh, and I also found a vacuum leak. I found one of the ports of the back. The big port, the brake booster port, was open, so that might be the reason why it wouldn't start. So let's see what we get. Oh, I got fuel hooked up to it too. So let's see what happens. Really weird, it's like it's firing and then shutting off. I get the timing off by like 1. Just move all the plugs 1 over. Now let's try that. Do that. Why is this thing not staying running? Still hearing the rattle. Something's coming from back here somewhere. All right, we'll come back to it. I think it's still making the rattle noise. I even tried to switch out the starter because I thought maybe it was coming from that. It seems to be coming from like this area back in here somewhere. But it seems to move around. I need to put my high torque starter in there just to be sure. And it works. It didn't make any noise. It doesn't touch the flywheel when it's done starting it. There is one other thing I'm going to try before I pull it apart again, because it's definitely coming from down here somewhere. So something in the bottom end, and I'm going to try putting a flex plate on there, starting it up with that and see if it makes noise. Because I've had flex plates make noise like that, but never a flywheel, but doesn't mean it couldn't. So we're going to try it out. I think I got a couple flex plates up there. One of them came from the original 350 out of the 2500. So it should fit right up on there. And we'll fire it up with that and see if it makes a difference. So I'm just trying. I don't want to have to rebuild an engine again or find another engine. So I'm hoping this one will end up being something simple. And if this doesn't take care of, if the flex plate isn't the problem or the flywheel isn't the problem, then we're gonna try the oil pump next. I have a spare oil pump as well. So we're just gonna check things. I don't know. Usually pretty obvious to tell which one comes off of these old engines. You can see the shape of the crank because it's a balanced crank, whereas this is a balanced flex plate. So this is the original one off the, well, I guess it's a 1970 or 1980 Chevy 350. This is a 77. So we're trying swapping those out and see if it makes a difference. Oh, flex plate didn't make any difference, so it's not that. So we're pulling it back off the stand, putting it back on that stand, flipping her over, checking out the oil pump. That's the only other thing I can think of. Or crank bearing, something like that. So yeah, I probably checked we checked the upper end and there's nothing wrong with that, but you never know. Could be the drive shaft for the distributor, who knows? But yeah, fun. All right, we're gonna dig a little bit deeper into this thing now. So we're gonna flip her over, check the the oil pump, all that stuff in there. Maybe check some crank bearings. Figure out what the hell this rattle is. It doesn't sound like any normal knock or rattle to me. It's a weird one. So we're gonna figure it out somehow. All right, got the the pan bolts out, and it popped up real nice, so it should come right off, I'm thinking. Well, let me pull a dipstick. Probably the only place that makes a mess, but gets it out of the way. There's a tube in there though as well. And hopefully it doesn't tear the gasket. So it looks like we're good on the back side maybe. Just don't want to tear the gasket because it's brand new. There we go, perfect. Pull the pan up and out. We'll look to see if there's any witness marks on this. It doesn't look like it. Any chance? The dipstick tube is getting hit. Try spinning it real quick like this and see if we see anything. Put my bolt. Oh, there it is. My pin, my bolt, whatever you want to call it. Sure does seem to be pushing a lot of air out through the bottom somewhere, doesn't it? Oh, what is that? Oh, look at that. That's the little plastic piece for the drive shaft for the oil pump. That being off of there could definitely cause a rattle. Well, that'll be. Now, where's the rest of it at? In the bottom of the pan, maybe? I don't see it there. I don't see the plastic anywhere. Well, now we know you got to pull that oil pump off anyway, so that's good. It's something. I'd like to know where that piece of plastic went. That could very well be what the rattle was this whole time, and I just took it apart already. I got an oil pump over there. I could have just put it on. Man. All right, let's pull the the oil pump off. Should be a 5/8. Yipper. 5/8 right there too. So I wonder if that was cracked before, causing it. Still like to know where the rest of that plastic went. I don't recall that being broken when I had it apart the first time, but doesn't mean it wasn't. While we're in here, we'll check the wrist pins and everything movement a little bit better than we did last time. Not on the stuck in there. No. Possible it could be down inside the piston there where there's oil. Oh, there it is. Right on. Is that the whole thing? Nope, still a piece missing. Just look at all these other pistons real quick just to make sure there isn't a chunk of plastic in any of them. I think what had happened, that ended up being the top instead of underneath. I don't know. Nope, everything else is good. I wonder where it would have gone. I don't know. Let's just replace the drive shaft. Well, actually, let's check some more things out. Just got to make sure nothing else. So far, no movement in the wrist pins. Well, we are getting a little leak by of the rings, but it seemed to run fine. It didn't have a whole lot of blow by. Yeah, I don't think there's anything else we need to really check. All the rods are got the right amount of play in them. Without, pulling the caps off, which I don't really want to do. Pull this gasket off and clean it up. Try not to tear it. There we go. Cool. I was like, what's that rattle? It's the drive shaft for the fuel oil pump. Imagine that. Well, I sure hope that's just a scratch. Sure hope that ain't a crack. So Chevys, unlike Fords, don't have a gasket there, so just be mindful of that. I believe those are maybe 70 foot-pounds, maybe 50. I can't remember. I think they're 70 or 80, something like that. We'll have to look it up. What I should do is use my Chiltons, because I have up to 76, which should be the same motor. You'll probably tell me more torque specs. Or I can look on Google, it'd be a lot faster, won't it? Hey Siri, what's the torque spec on an oil pump drive, or an oil pump on a small block Chevy? I think it doesn't work. Hey Siri. Nope, it won't work while I'm recording. All right, I'll be back after I get the torque specs. All right, so it's 65 foot-pounds. I checked the book and the internet, and they both said the same thing, so. Let's go to 65. There's 60 and 65. There we go. It's probably more like 62 because of the stretch of that, but it'll be fine. All right, if you put a new oil filter on there before we tip it back over, hopefully that last piece of plastic isn't interfering anywhere and it just falls down. This is kind of the crappy thing. Like, we button it all back up and hope that that drive shaft was the only problem. Yeah, I don't know either. I got the pan back on, so we can probably fire it up and see how it does. Since it's, I can actually fire it up with the flywheel on here. I gotta put the oil back in. But yeah, I put a new filter on because that one was dented. Hopefully that takes care of the damn rattle. But we gotta get it set up to where we can actually run it on the stand here before I can even think about it. But yeah, a little worn out from doing this over and over again. But it's part of the joy, right? Gotta hear some lifter noise now. That bad rattle seems to be gone. Until I hit the gas. Yeah, whatever that tick is coming from up here now. I don't hear it down here. I don't think. Can't run it super long. Well, the rattle's officially gone. No noise whatsoever now. So it was that oil pump drive shaft. That makes me happy. Although, when you're doing stuff like this, pay attention to what you're doing. Because I've ran it the first couple of times with no freaking oil in it. Luckily, no rattle clattering came about. That was what the rattle was the first time I was hearing it. But now it's completely quiet. So take your time and don't screw up. So hopefully it didn't do any damage to it by doing that. But don't rush. Just take your time and do stuff right. So the noise came back, and have you ever seen this happen on just one of these? We're fired up here. Look at that. That one squirting, the other ones are barely dripping any oil. Have you ever seen that before? Just the one spraying like a madman. Making a mess everywhere, of course. But the knot came back, so I wanted to figure out what the heck's going on. It went away, now it's back. Like, I don't know. All right, so we know we got a bad lifter. We got to pull this intake off again. My buddy is like, you ought to try what that one mechanic does and pull the distributor and fish out the lifter with a hanger. And I'm like, no, that's a little too much. So I'm fine with pulling the intake back off of it. So we're going to do that. Get that lifter out. I got some on order from Summit. And you can replace lifters as long as the cam ain't messed up. So I'll have to do another break-in on it. But other than that, hopefully it'll take care of the rattling issue. Because there's that noise. I don't know. We'll check them all just to be sure. I want to see what this lifter's doing that's causing it to squirt like it is. But that's what we're going to do. Tear this thing down again. Yes, again. So as you expect, nothing really stands out on this. This is the one that was squirting. So just gonna pull it out and see if we see anything. Well, the good thing is there's no wear on the lifter itself. Let's see if we can see the cam lobe or not. Yeah, see that lobe, or that lifter looks good on that side of it. So it's just something in the hydraulics ain't working. Oh yeah, it ain't compressing at all. Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, nothing stands out about it, but usually you can, compress them a little bit. I got 16 of them on order. I think I'm just going to replace them all. Because why not? So just gotta wait for them to come in. They should be here Tuesday. Today's Sunday. They're coming from Arlington, which is only like 4 hours away. So it shouldn't be too long. Heck, if they send it out tonight, it might be here tomorrow, but that's wishful thinking. Yeah. Everybody says that's what the problem is. That's clear. Bent at all? No. Push rod's good. So just one lifter. Take a look at the lobe. I need to get the bore scope out. Yeah, I can't see nothing from here. Oh, that looks really good. Cool. All right, so now it's just a waiting game, waiting for the parts to come in as usual. Maybe we'll go test fit some panels on the truck as well. Because I got a new core support, new inner fenders, new hood latch, all that good stuff. Got to figure out why. Because I took a bunch of measurements. I'll show you here in a minute. So the main reason I wanted a new core support, well, for one, this piece here is broken on that one. These tabs are completely broken off in 3 places. So I wanted a new one for that. Plus the latch was broken. The actual piece down inside here was broken. And but I took measurements because this one here is also, see, it's been welded, the original one. So it's been broken apart and welded back together. So I just kind of assumed that it was welded together wider, but everything measures out the exact same. So I don't know where the difference lies, but the new one versus the old one, it's the same as far as measurements go. So I don't know. Hopefully once we get it in there, it'll change. Like, by some weird miracle, it'll, line up properly. Or maybe the top of the fender right here has gotten bent out somehow. It needs to be tweaked in. You can see right here, I don't know if I can make it do it or not, but watch this area right here, which should be attached to the fender, and it moves independently from the mount. So that could be it. The big gap up here. So maybe the whole fender is what the problem is. So I'm going to check and see price-wise what the new fenders cost. I think they're around 200, 250 bucks, something like that. I don't remember. But there's a lot about these that I kind of want to replace them anyways because they're all tore up like that. So I don't know. I might just get new ones. I checked the junkyard I go to, and there wasn't any that are any better shape than what these ones are. So thinking new might be the way to go, and we'll decide that after I do some pricing. But spider web. Yeah, that's where we're at with that. And but yeah, we got a new core support. It's not broken and welded back together, and has all the right pieces that are functional. Mainly this piece right here and the latch. So pretty good. Oh yeah, and these, like the original one I have over there, it's got a crack in it, kind of like what that is, but it's cracked all the way through. So this thing I think definitely took a front end hit at one point, and is what probably pushed everything back because, like I said, the cab even, god dang spider webs, the cab was pushed up against the bed, and I got it to separate and pull out a little bit. So by loosening up the cab mounts, but yeah, it definitely needs a lot of work as far as body work goes, but I like it. I think it's worth it. I got new mirrors for it now too. So because I took the mirrors off of this truck when it was at the junkyard to put on one of the 70s, and now it needs mirrors. So I picked up a set of those at the junkyard as well. So we're covered on that, which is pretty cool. But yeah, we just got to figure out, do some panel alignments now and figure it all out. So I took the lifter apart, and now it seems to be fine. Like it does everything it's supposed to. I'm not sure. Like I compared it to an older one I had, and they act exactly the same. I found one little chunk of debris between the cup here and the little disc underneath, the pressure disc or whatever it is. And that was about it. But I might try putting it back in just to see if it still does it. Why not? It'd be my luck that it's going to be fine now. But yeah, we'll figure it out. I'll decide what I'm going to do here at some point. So what I'm about to do, I don't suggest you doing, but I'm going to try putting this lifter back in just because I took it apart and I found a piece of trash in there. But I just want to see if it starts working now. So put a little oil on there just so it's not dry going in. Stick her back in there. She moves nicely, she spins. Put the push rod back in and get this rocker put back on. And we're just going to temporarily put the intake back on. I think I got the rubber style China wall seals. Let's stick that on there for now. I don't normally use that, but I figure for testing purposes it'll be good enough. I'm going to keep the intake manifold gaskets on there too because they're not like damaged or anything. Should be good enough to test it to see if this thing's still squirting. So get this thing spun around to where it's top dead center, or where it needs to be for, so basically we're going to let the number, we're going to let the intake go down and come back up, and then, oh, that's got a lot of compression. Okay, there's the intake going down. Now have to come almost all the way up. Now we can set the lash on that. A little too far. So right there's good, and do another half turn. So the lash should be set. So we should be good on that. So I think we can go ahead and put the intake back on, get everything hooked up. I'm going to leave the valve covers off. I might grab, I got an older set that I might cut out so I can look at them as we're doing this. But anyways, I don't know what I'm talking about. But we're going to get the intake put back on here. Got some China wall stuff. And then we'll get it fired up again and see if it's still spewing. And see if any of the other ones are. Hopefully that noise will go away. Let's fire it up, see if it does anything. And kind of go from there. On. It's not squirting, but it's also not getting oil. I need to be able to hear it better. So let's get the exhaust put on it, get it moved, and we'll go from there. I don't see the oil coming up out of this. The one that was squirting before doesn't seem to have any oil coming out of it now at all. So I don't know. We got to run it a little bit longer. All right, we're gonna fire it up again here. Gotta make sure this one oils but doesn't spray. So we didn't run it really very long. I couldn't hear nothing. I want to be able to hear it, so we're gonna fire it up like this, and hopefully it'll run. All right, we're getting oil. It's gonna make a mess, but we're getting oil. It's not spewing like it was before. So let me get my shield just to be sure. I meant to mark the distributor when I pulled it out this time, but I forgot. It's not my timing. It was perfect before, now it's off. Okay, let's try this again. Make sure it's oiling and not spraying. Can y'all see that? Trying not to block your view here. I need to hook the fuel up here, but well, it's not spraying anymore. I can't tell if it's making any noise. Definitely timing's off. So let's see if we can get a reading on the timing just when it's running that little bit. Timing light hooked up now. Pretty close to 10, but I ain't getting full on, but I don't hear nothing. And that's not squirting anymore. Did we fix it? Because I got to get some heat in it and before it really makes the noises. Who knew? You get the fuel system hooked up. All right, there we have it. About 12 degrees. I don't want to run it too long. We don't got a cooling system. Not making any noise. Oh, there it goes. Yeah, we got noise. This stuff is driving me nuts. We don't have the lifter squirt anymore, but we definitely got some of that rattle again. Rattle's still there. I don't want to rebuild an engine. Pull the lifters and everything back out again. If you look right there, you can see some nicks in that one. This one right here is definitely cut in the middle, so it's definitely worn out. This one right here has got sharp edges on it. So I checked the cam lobes with the bore scope. They all look okay. I don't see any like worn down areas, but it doesn't mean that there isn't, because like I said, I'm using a bore scope. But all the ones that are flipped with the downside facing up have questionable marks on them that I think warrants replacing the cam and the lifters on this. So I think that might be where I'm at this point. Especially, I mean, that's a huge nick in there. And that's a pretty good cup. A couple scratches there. So I think a good, I can get a cam, decent, a little bigger than stock cam for like 150 bucks from Summit. It's a Melling, it's the same thing as oil pumps. But I figure what the heck, might go that route. I've already got the lifters, they came in today. So, and yes, they are China made, but you can't get them anywhere else unless I got to check on that, there's like one American made company that makes them. Can't remember the name of them right now, but I'll let you know when I find out. And I might price those as well, find out what, kind of figure out, see what the price of those would be, and maybe go with those. I don't know yet. So I just don't want to freaking rebuild nothing. If I can just replace the cam, and the lobes aren't worn down enough that I'm worried about a bunch of metal being in the oil or being sucked through or doing damage to the bearings. So I checked the bearings before, and all the ones I checked were perfect. Like they, hardly had any miles on them. So that's where I'm at with that. I think I'm just going to go ahead and probably order a new cam, and I'll talk to that company, see about what their lifters cost. These were, I got all 16 of them for 127 bucks shipped. So yes, we'll see. I mean, if that's the route I have to go, that's the route I'll go. But, as long as we break them in right, we should be all right, I hope. But I don't know. You never know with parts these days. They all kind of suck. So that's why I was hoping I wouldn't have to change any of that, because these are older and, I thought they'd be good. But there's definitely some issues with a couple of them. Enough to warrant rechanging them. So those lifters I was talking about that are American made are Johnson lifters, I think it's called. But it looks like they only do roller lifters. So I don't know if I can get flat tappets from them or not. But I'll have to call them and find out. But on that note, can't really go much further on this until I get a new cam. So we're gonna go ahead and call the video here. So if you like this video, leave a like down there, leave me a comment. Let me know what I can do better. Subscribe while you're at it. Why not? It's free. Tell your friends, turn on your notifications, do all that good stuff that YouTube wants you to do to help my channel out. So if you've been here till the end, I really appreciate it. So until next time, I'll see y'all later.